that's the idea, is let's start treating the smaller groups of interested sailors as the small groups that they are, and give them a voice. And on the flip side, give us a communication channel to talk to them. Sorry. So, perhaps some lofty goals. To be honest, I don't think any of those ideas are particularly hard to roll out. At the end of the day, it's figuring out if we're gonna go for a larger cruising community, which Facebook group is the one that we really kind of want to lean on that exists right now, because we don't want to create a new one. There's enough out there. So how do we pull in the membership? And if we look at the racers, same thing. Do we need a new Facebook group? Are the ones out there that work already? But like, these are relatively easy solutions to come up with. Find a moderator, set some ground rules, and then off we go. We can do this next weekend if we needed to. With all this, there's a little bit of shimmying around that we've got to do on our end. So as of today, our membership structure does not allow for the majority of what we just presented. I don't know how to do some of the things within the confines of our bylaws as they are today. So I rewrote them, or I'm sorry, I adjusted some of them to allow for individual membership. And something that we are going to do after I'm done speaking is vote on the amended bylaws so that we can carry on into 2019. It's been a busy couple months for that. So that's essentially the idea, is that from our end, we're going to adjust the policy to allow for individual racers and individual cruisers to join the SailNL umbrella. What that actually looks like when we push it out and when we start recruiting, I don't know yet. It's April. So give me another couple of weeks to kind of figure that out and talk to you guys as far as what you think would work. And again, at the end of this, there will be ample opportunity to push back and say, I don't know if this is the right course. So I forgot also, we don't currently have a mechanism to bring individual racers, or sorry, race crew into the Sail Canada and the SailNL membership umbrella, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, in that we've got the 138 cruisers coming from the RMYC and 100 race crew, but I don't know who those race crew are. I don't have a clue. So we're saying that we're the organizing body for sailing and that we're a sporting body for sailing, but I don't have a clue how many grinders and kite trimmers and bowmen are actually on the water on a given Wednesday night. I don't know. And you know, part of that is the membership structure as it's set up right now. So I would like to create a new membership category to bring individual race crew into the umbrella. How I'm going to do that, I don't know. It's April. Let me get around to it. But this is the idea. This is where I think that we can go as far as bringing people in. So looking at kind of first steps as far as changing the membership policy and kind of what we're doing literally today. Shifting the bylaws around a little bit to give us a little bit of room and flexibility to kind of figure things out with individual members. Kind of test the waters continually through 2019 and potentially through 2020. But once we wrap our head around what actually works, then we start going west. So if the class association model works in Terra Nova Yacht Club, and given that you're here, I'm going to take that as a positive step. So is that something that's scalable, and is that something that we can start to shift out, or sorry, look westward and start to have a better conversation with Lewisport? Because they run races, I know that they do. They have asked me for help a couple of times. Never worked out, unfortunately, but we've got a group of racers in Lewisport. We've got a group of racers in Corner Brook. We know that for sure. So can we start to kind of draw in groups, small little fleets of 6 or 10 or whatever the count is, and on the flip side, have us provide a little bit of racing support and kind of help bring those racing programs along. And then maybe we look at a Squid Fest or an RNYC Race Week with racers coming in from different parts of the province and building it up to the type of racing that we see in Chester and in Lunenburg and some of the other bigger events in Nova Scotia. Becky and I went to Chester 2 years ago. Yeah. I couldn't tell you how many clubs were represented at that event. It was absolutely monstrous, and it was just keelboat racing. That's all it was. It was a fantastic time that I remember most of. That was actually a really windy week. So I alluded to the fact that I'm punching about an hour and a half or so a day, depending on the day. So organizational sustainability is definitely something that we're looking at as far as bandwidth. Again, I've been at the helm for 6 years. There's no way that I can keep going at the pace that I'm going. I will be divorced and unemployed. So how do we kind of take what we're doing right now, scale it up the way that we're talking about, and on the flip side, hopefully take some of the work that I'm doing and that the board is doing, kind of take that down a notch. And again, we're looking at a strategic vision, not a plan. At the end of the day, a lot of what we're talking about doing is actually up to the membership and the Sailing Association to actually execute on. We are in this meeting and going forward attempting to plant some seeds and say, hey, is this something that you think that we can work with? Let's try it, let's build the association together, but with no expectation that I'm on the race course every single time someone's going racing, or that Becky's on the race course every single time we're working with athletes, or that Randy has to show up to every cruising event. Like, it's not possible for us to be everywhere and do everything. But on the flip side, I think that we can reorganize ourselves to push our message out and have meaningful conversations with yacht clubs across the province. That's the lens that all of this was put together with.